Hello everybody, my name is Blair. This will be my very first YouTube video and I'm kind of scared, but I'm pretty excited about it. This is kind of a weird setup. I am currently in my dad's truck because I just didn't have anywhere to film this inside, so this is where we're gonna do it. As many of you may or may not know, I just recently joined the United States Air Force. This has been such an exciting process, and I know that to get me up to this point, I have watched several YouTube videos and did my own research, so I thought I would just hop on here and make a video about how I got to where I'm at right now and my process through Meps. Just in case any of you were interested in joining the military or the Air Force, I thought this video could certainly help. So once you get to the step to go to Meps, you'll be communicating with your recruiter, obviously. And once he says that it's time to take the ASVAB and to go to Meps and get your physical done, then that's what you'll do. You can either take the ASVAB and get your physical done on the same day, or you can take the ASVAB the night before, which is what I did. So I went down on a Wednesday, I believe, and took the ASVAB. And before I went down and took the ASVAB, I had a briefing with my recruiter, and he just basically sat me down and said, hey, this is what's going to happen, make sure you follow along and follow the rules and do everything right, just so everything goes as smoothly as possible. So after that briefing, I went to Meps and took the ASVAB, and which took me quite some time, took me like 3.5 hours. After that, I went back to my hotel. So if you do it in a 2-day process or like a 2-day time frame, usually they set you up in a hotel. So I went and checked into my hotel, and so I kind of set my stuff down, kind of was able to take a deep breath after getting that ASVAB out of the way. And so the hotel does feed you with supper, but the food is not very good. It's hotel food, and it wasn't very good, but it sufficed. So also make sure the night before you go into your physical, you're not drinking any alcohol. I mean, it's kind of hard to because you're being supervised in a hotel, but they will breathalyze you at Meps. So you should not be drinking any alcohol the night before. Also, make sure you get a good night's rest. Wake up call was at 4 a.m. that following day, so I was in bed by like 9:30. Make sure you get lots of sleep and you're hydrating a lot, because you will have to give a urine sample, and you want to make sure you're able to give that sample. Otherwise, they'll make you chug water and make you walk hot laps, and it's kind of embarrassing. So just make sure you're hydrated as well. So let's fast forward to the next day. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. It's wake up call. You wake up, you get dressed, and make sure you're in the appropriate clothes. My recruiter told me business casual, just like you're going to an interview, closed-toed shoes, all piercings have to be taken out. And for the whole underwear situation, they want you to wear granny panties or underwear that covers your bottom, because you'll be doing some squats and some, range of motion exercises, and they don't want to see your butt. So, anyways, I got up and got dressed, and I was ready to go. I drove myself. You can either drive yourself or take the shuttle to and from Meps, but I decided to drive myself just in case if I finished before everyone else, I didn't want to be stuck there. So I followed the bus back to Meps, and the first thing we did is go through security. So like I said, you want to make sure you don't have any metal on you. All your piercings and stuff are out. They'll make you take like the things that you're carrying and put them in a little bin, kind of like at the airport, and they'll run it through an x-ray machine just to make sure you don't have any weapons or anything that you shouldn't have there. After that, we all lined up and we went to our specific liaison office. I hope I'm saying this right. I should have looked it up before I started this video. So at Meps, one side is medical and one side is where the different branches are at. So I first checked in with the Air Force liaison, and he told me to go to medical. So medical is the part that everyone dreads. It's so long. There's so many parts to it. You're tired, you're hungry, but it's really not that bad. There is a lot of waiting around, but my biggest thing and best piece of advice is to follow along and listen, because if there's an empty seat and you know, someone gets up to do something and your butt's not in that seat within 5 seconds, you're going to be getting yelled at. So just listen, follow along, make sure you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to get the next thing done, because they're trying to get, you know, you in there as fast as possible. And yeah, just make sure you're following along. So when you get to the medical wing, the first thing they do is take your blood pressure. And after that, they give you a form where you mark down all of your tattoos and piercings, which took me quite a while. I have a lot of both. And then after that, we had our ears looked at. So the doctor, make sure your ears are clean. The doctor will look in your ears and he asks you to plug your nose and blow so your ears pop. He has to be able to see your eardrums. If not, I heard that, you know, they can try and clean it out so he can see it, but just make sure your ears are clean. And after that, you just do a quick little read aloud of a paragraph just to make sure you're awake and ready for the day. After that, you do the vision test, which is a color vision test, a like near vision test, a far vision test, and a depth perception test. And so once those are done, you will go take the hearing test. I was a little worried about the hearing test just because it's kind of weird. You know, you're in like this sound box that you can't hear anything, and you can almost just hear yourself breathe. Like it just totally cancels out everything. And you have these big headphones on that just cancel out all noise. So I was a little worried about that. I was almost holding my breath just so I could hear the best of my ability. But yeah, it's not that bad. I had heard a lot of bad things from YouTube videos that people would cheat, and I don't recommend that at all. Just try your best. After that, we all went into a classroom and went over our paperwork. They will give you a manila folder with all of your medical documents in it that you're carrying the whole time. And please do not leave that anywhere, because that is like HIPAA. It, you know, contains very important information like your medical records, your social security number, and all that good stuff. And yeah, if you leave it sitting somewhere, or if you leave it open, you are going to get yelled at. So yeah, we went into this room and they gave us a PowerPoint presentation and just told us, you know, make sure all of our paperwork was in line. That took about 45 minutes. And that's when we were told that lunch started at 10:30. So at this time, it's like 8 o'clock and in the morning, and I'm starving because the breakfast was at the hotel was awful. I forgot to mention that. Awful. It was like bagged eggs and just not good at all. So I'm starving. And yeah, we were told that, you know, lunch was at 10:30. So I was getting pumped for that. After the PowerPoint, we were breathalyzed, which I thought was kind of cool, kind of fun. You know, I've never done that before. After that, we gave a urine sample, and it's kind of different. I don't know about for the guys, but for the girls, you are watched. You're given a cup and you go into a stall out a door. A nurse will watch you go to the bathroom just to make sure you're not smuggling any urine in there, and they want to make sure it's your pee. So she will watch you pee in the cup, and then once it's full, she'll take it from you, you'll finish up, and then you'll set your urine in a window and they'll label it and mark it, and that's where they will do the drug screening. After that, you get your blood drawn, which I was not excited about. I hate needles and I hate veins and all that good stuff, but the needle was really small and the lady knew what she was doing, so it wasn't that bad at all. After that, you go and sit down with the doctor. This is the doctor interview. This is the part that I dreaded the most, just because I was so nervous. You know, he's going to ask you about all of your medical information. Yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking, but it actually went really smooth. I was in and out. He just asked me, you know, about my paperwork and made sure everything was right, and that was pretty much it. So then after that, the girls kind of went one way and the guys kind of went one way. And all of the females went into this big open room and we stripped down into our bra and underwear. We then had our weight taken. Some of us got measured, and then we waited for the doc to come back in. And that is when we did a bunch of range of motion exercises. So we flipped our hands up, we put our arms out, did arm circles. You know, he looked at our joints, looked at our spine, nothing too crazy. And then after that, we did the duck walk, which if you're interested in joining the military, or if you've done some research, you know that that's kind of like the big laugh that everybody, you know, doesn't look forward to, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It's awkward. You know, you're walking like a duck, you're squatted down, you're in your bra and underwear, but it's super easy and it's like 30 seconds long. Once that was over with, I was pretty glad, pretty happy. So after that was done, at least for the females, we were taken individually back in to see the doctor, and that is when he kind of just looked at our arms and legs. At this point, we were completely naked, but we had a gown on, and he looked at our arms and legs just for any scars or marks that we didn't mark down. He also does want to look down there on females. It's nothing too crazy at all. It's not like a pap smear. It's not like, you know, nothing's inserted or anything like that. All he does is ask you just to spread your legs, and he looks, make sure everything, you know, is visibly okay, and that's it. Once you're done with that, you are done with medical. Hallelujah. Once I was done with that, I was so happy, you know, just to keep going in the day. And that's what, you know, I was most anxious and nervous about. So that was a big weight lifted off my shoulders. After medical, I went back to my, the Air Force liaison, and that is where I did this machine that's kind of like a deadlift. I think the Air Force is the only branch that does it, but you just see how much weight you can lift to see what jobs you qualify for. Obviously, the more weight you can lift, the more jobs you do qualify for. After that, you sit down and you go over your security paperwork that you filled out with your recruiter just to make sure all your references and everything is correct. And then after that, I went and got fingerprinted. I, you know, did my beneficiary paperwork and yeah, did some more security stuff. And then after that, I finally got to eat. It was like almost 2 o'clock and I finally got to eat, and I was so excited. I was so hungry. And they got us Witch Witch. They got us Witch Witch for lunch. Like a Witch Witch sub, 2 Witch Witch cookies, Doritos, and an apple and some water. I was amazed. It was such a good lunch. I was thoroughly impressed. And then after lunch, we went over our contract a couple times. You do it when you go over your security paperwork, when you get paper or fingerprinted. And then we went over it again with the liaison of your branch. And so after that, you are pretty much good to swear in. I had to, you know, kind of sit around and wait a little bit just because they wanted a group of us to swear in. They don't do it like one at a time. They wait until a group of people is done so that you can all do it together. But yeah, I finally got to swear in. I got out of there at like, I want to say 3-ish. It was super fun. Unfortunately, because of COVID, you know, parents weren't allowed there and nobody really took any pictures, but I still, you know, remember it, and it was so much fun. This process has been nothing but exciting. A little scary, but very exciting, and I'm glad that I've come this far. As of right now, I'm in the DEP program, the delayed entry program, so I'm just waiting to leave, waiting to get my ship date for basic. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun talking about it, and I will definitely keep you all updated with my process in the Air Force and in the military. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.